So it's critical to have this one thing before you get rich. Us too, we apply this stuff to ourselves every day, and we're not perfect, but we strive.
I want to say that to the folks that are listening too. Rudy is the epitome of that. At 30 years old, this dude he just has such a fire.
What's up, everybody? It's Rudy with Vantage Mindset, where I teach you guys life and business strategies that keep you living life on top. That's what it is. It's all about perspectives. And today, what I want to talk to you guys about is, before getting rich, there's one tool that you need, or I guess one category of things that you need to do first before getting rich that's going to change the outcome and the whole trajectory of your life of where you end up. So I have a list of about 10 things that I want to talk about that I would double check and honestly, truthfully analyze for yourself and ask yourself these questions, because I'm telling you, you can go and you can find hundreds, if not thousands of people who can teach you how to make money on YouTube. It's not hard to make money. There's so much of it, but who you have to become and who you turn into in order to get that money, skills and things that you're taught are going to be the most important things of who you are as a person and who you're shaping yourself to be. There comes a point where you have to be consciously aware of what you're willing to sacrifice for money, because at some point we all want to be rich. Let's not lie to ourselves. So if you have the ability to be rich, what are you willing to do to get the richness that you desire? Is it bad? We hear about the Illuminati and people selling their souls. Would you go as far as doing stuff like that? So that's brings me to my first topic, is that self-awareness. Self-awareness can mean a lot of different things, but in this case, self-awareness meaning, where am I at right now in life? Who am I? Who is this Rudy Perez guy? What kind of mindset does he take up? What kind of decisions do I make throughout the day? Am I making decisions to keep me where I'm at, or am I making decisions to better me on where I want to go? So being aware of where I'm at, the emotions I'm settling into on a daily basis, the thoughts that I'm having, the actions that I'm taking. Am I working out? Am I doing things to make sure that my mind becomes stronger? Because if you know that you should be working out and you have the time, shouldn't you know that working out is not only about looking good, it's about feeling good, becoming healthy. And when you can do that, it snowball effects into other areas of your life. That's how you manifest things. But the biggest thing for me is getting yourself to do something that you don't even feel like doing, like working out. I'll admit, I don't feel like working out all the time. And there's some times that I don't, but a lot of the time when I don't feel like working out, I'll go and do something just because I know my mind doesn't want me to do it. I do it anyway, because that's how you strengthen your mind. If you think about working out, your muscles, your mind is the same thing. If you're not constantly using what's coming to your mind, you're going to lose it. It's like that voice when God speaks to you. If you're not listening and you're not applying that voice, what you're hearing from God, you're not going to be able to continue to hear from him, because I'm going to keep talking to you, but you ignore me. So why am I going to keep speaking to you? Second thing that you need before you get rich is vision setting, to visualize. And this to me is one of my favorites, because when you can visualize, that is a true form of God speaking to us. Because think about it, this chair that I'm sitting in, who had this idea? Here, look, who had this idea to make this pattern how it is, the colors, the shape, the size, all the different materials? How does somebody acquire the ability to imagine this, and then after they imagine it, then put it into material form to where it manifests outwardly? That's the great thing about thoughts, because this chair here was just a thought. Someone visualized this and then they made it come true. That is true example of manifestation. But like I said, where did that initial visualization come of this chair? To me, it came from God. Where else? So once we get our vision and we're self-aware of where we're at and where we're headed, the next thing that we need to do is just be resilient. Understand that nothing is going to be easy. I promise you, nothing's easy in life. I had an extremely hard childhood, had an extremely rough life up until this point. I've seen some crazy things that should be unspeakable on camera. And did I let them affect me, or did I let them make me a greater person? You have that choice. But back to resilience is when these things come up, if you want to do it correctly and you want to become the best you, understand that these challenges are from God, and he wouldn't give them to you unless he knows that you can overcome them. And when you overcome them, there's so much growth on the other end. We get caught up because the mind is here to trick ourselves into thinking that we shouldn't have to work hard, we just deserve everything without doing good work for it or whatever. We want all these things with nothing to give for it. So just be resilient. When these obstacles come, embrace it. Take up the mindset and the perspective of, hey, this is an obstacle for me to get stronger. No matter how hard it is, I can do this, because I believe my Heavenly Father would not have given me this opportunity to grow unless he didn't think I can. Next, number 4 is just the willingness to be adaptable, because I may think that I want to go downstream this way, but God's like, oh no, there's a small little avenue that I want you to take, or a smaller little stream that breaks off to the left. I want you to go this way. Or you're forced to go this way because there's something blocking your way of going the way that you thought. And so you need to be adaptable, because you have to understand either two things. A, this is an obstacle and I'll be able to get back on track and I'm going to learn something from this. Or B, maybe I'm heading in the direction, but there's a little change that God wants from me that I'm not seeing. So let me just trust the reasoning of why I'm having to go this way. Because if you can take a mindset like that, like what's really going to stop you? What is really stopping you from taking these mindsets that just help you? Like, why do you have to sit here and self-defeat and be stressed out and worried, getting anxiety because, oh my God, I'm going the wrong way. I wanted to go this way. Like, no, you'll be fine. Have you ever been in a situation where you thought it was going to be the end? It wasn't, because you're still here. You're still free. You're not locked up or incarcerated. Like, you will be fine. Trust me. 6, after all this kind of stuff, like I was just talking about, not only do you have to get the perspective, like you have to have the emotional intelligence, because if there's one thing that we have control of, it's our emotions. Like, think about it. At what point, give me one example that you really could not have control of your emotional state. I hate to use extreme examples, but imagine if you have a kid, a son or a daughter, or if you do, imagine one of them, and in order to get them back out of being held hostage, you have to go through your worst fear, or you have to go through some crazy traumatic experience that usually would cause a lot of emotional baggage or reaction. But in order to get your kid back, you have to just remain calm and expressionless. I bet you could do it. I really bet you could. Maybe not up here, but that's all right. Because if you can slow it out here, we can use the body and your physiology to manipulate the thoughts. We do good stuff with our body. We breathe, we'll start to slow down. When we get the mind and the heart to kind of slow down and get in rhythm together, because when they're out of whack, that's when we get anxiety, we get stressed, we can't think clearly. But when we start breathing, they do this and they're in sync. And that's when we can speak to God and we can hear from God. And that's when we get clarity and the answers of the situation of what we're in. And I know this video is crazy. Like, you're like, dude, what is all this stuff? Like, but this is what is required for you to get rich. That's if you want to become a good person. And I'm not interested in trying to help anybody get rich that has bad intentions to do bad. Number 7 is persistence. It goes back to being resilience, discipline. You know, just be persistent in what you're doing, what you want. It just takes time and it takes effort. One example that I'll never forget is I heard people don't necessarily get lucky. I think they're just doing things that add up. They keep doing good things to put themselves in good places, have them run into an opportunity that seems lucky. Like, think about the person who shows up to an account every single day or shows up looking for work every single day. And the one time that they don't show up is when the opportunity comes. But that person that just keeps on sticking by, that opportunity comes at a random time and they're there. And what others would call luck is like, no, this is just persistence. So that's another thing. 8 is you always have to be in the mindset of learning. You have to know that you don't know everything. And you have to, I mean, honestly, what helps me is just the curiosity and knowing that I don't know everything, and then just the willingness to want to learn. And so that's one mindset, you know, just the ability to learn is going to help you grow further. You know, are you reading books? Because I know a lot of other people, they're just over here on social media wasting their time, expecting to get rich. But are they really putting in the work, or are they deserving of getting rich if you're just browsing your phone on social media? No. Number 9, being an optimistic person. I think in order to get along in this world, in order to see success, I think that you have to be a risk taker. And you cannot be a successful risk taker if you're not being optimistic about what's on the other side. A lot of us get caught up and understand or thinking about what's going to happen if the risk fails. And so we won't start. So we cut ourselves off right there. Like, what if I told you in order to get rich like you want, you have to give up everything that you're doing right now, your job, your money, you got to sell your home, whatever, and start over. But once you start over and pursue this new path that we put in front of you of your choosing, of something that you enjoy, then you'll get rich. How about that scary phase of letting everything go and just trusting? Like, would you be willing to do that? Probably not. And that's the reason why a lot of people get stuck, because they want to be comfortable. Being comfortable is one of the worst places to be in. I promise you, we don't want that. There's ways to be a risk taker. The term I like to use is I make calculated risks. There's ways of just kind of playing out every perspective in your mind, saying, okay, what can go wrong here? What can go wrong here? If I do this, then what's the result there, and you play out everything. That way, hey, if something does go wrong, what's the worst case scenario? And am I willing to deal with that if this were to go wrong? That's a calculated risk. So that's one thing that you need to apply in order to attain riches. And last thing that it takes is everything I led up to this point is self-sacrifice. You have to be able to willing to die of this version of yourself. Because if I want to get rich, this version that I see of myself that's rich and multi-millions and doing things that I love and helping people out and giving and having charities and doing all of this fun stuff, I have to die of this version of myself. I have to sacrifice this version of myself because this version of myself doesn't know what that version of myself knows. It only knows what I know now. And what I know now is keeping me where I am. Everything that you have going on in your life is just a reflection of who you've decided to be. Well, now it's time to sacrifice this version of yourself and adopt that mindset of that version you want to be and start living that version of your life. And that's the secret to all of this. I have an ebook coming out. It's going to be in the link. Go ahead and click that to download it. It's going to teach you how to make a 6-figure online business in 30 days. I highly recommend it. Like I said, it's free. And then if you want one-on-one coaching to work with me where I can help you turn that 30 days, but just the results are going to be a lot bigger and better. Hit the link in the bottom, schedule a one-on-one call with me. It's complimentary. I promise you by the end of it, you're going to be coming out with assignments, vision, and goals. So whether you decide to work with me or not, you're going to have something to leave with. Appreciate you guys making it this far through. We'll see you in the next video. Peace. Us too, we apply this stuff to ourselves every day, and we're not perfect, but we strive.
I want to say that to the folks that are listening too. Rudy is the epitome of that. At 30 years old, this dude he just has such a fire for life, a passion. And you're not one of those ones that sit on the sidelines.